Jean-Paul here, welcome back. So in this video, the 7 best ways to really boost your self-care practice as an empath, as a highly sensitive person, a spiritual seeker, someone who is very intuitive and creative as well. So I'm in a very unique location at the moment. I'm at a location we call it in the Netherlands havenhoofd, meaning the head of the harbor. So basically, just up there is the little town, 30th century town, Zierikzee. It's the town where I was born and raised. Of course, I moved out of the town when I was a little bit younger in order for studies and work and everything. In 2013, I moved to London, so that's why I speak in English and not in Dutch. However, every time when I get the opportunity, I always like to visit back this town, and a lot of things has changed, obviously. But I also see a lot of reminders. You know, you have the little touristic harbor where you see the yachts and everything, historical buildings from the 13th century, and a lot of beautiful things that's really triggering a lot of memories. Now, there's a little bit of a flip side of the story as well, because I was born here, I was raised here, so I saw everything from a limited perspective, from someone who actually would live here and grow up here. So when you move out of that bubble and you expand in the real world, the big world, and you come back, you see in what kind of world you grew up in. And your perspective of life has changed as well, which is very fascinating. So besides it's a very touristic place, it's also a place, because it is such a little fishing town, it's also a town with a lot of addictions. Even in my own family. My grandfather, he used to be a fisherman as well. This region is very famous for fishing on the mussels. There's loads of mussel farms here. We take the seed from Canadian and other region of the world. We grow it, sell it. So when you walk down the streets, everywhere you smell mussels. It's a local specialty, so it's very, very delicious. But my grandfather moved away from that industry because, you know, they found a virus. And then he went for a safe job, working on a surveyor vessel for the government. Because of that, he left alone with a lot of guilt, regret. That void, that emptiness, he started to, you know, express it through anger, lots of anger towards my father. So there was a lot of emotional, narcissistic abuse in my family. Later on, there were abuse regarding to alcoholism, not drugs, but a lot of alcoholism, and you know, that's where all the anger came from in my family, the violence, the aggression. So that's really, in a nutshell, a glimpse of what I've seen in my own childhood when I was, you know, born here and raised here and grew up here as a child. Of course, later on, you experience that as an empath, it's not very wise to keep on going on this emotional abusive relationship, so you move on in order to find your own way. But because we are so good at taking care of others, before we know it, we tend to please a lot of people. We want to keep everything in a balance and harmony. We want to keep the peace. And what we tend to do is we tend to give away a part of ourselves in order to maintain that level of peace and harmony. So before we know it, we victimize ourselves through people pleasing. And this pattern can go on and on and on and on. And before we know it, we really lose touch with our true authentic self. That's why I do what I do. Create this type of videos about mindfulness, spiritual development, and so on. So when it comes to self-care, there are lots of things we can do, and I will share 7 insights, 7 ways to do it, but probably you already know it. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to continue recording this video at another location, because right now it's evening. I came here because of a sunset, which I got a tiny little glimpse of, but right now it's just cloudy, very cloudy. It's going to rain. The weather doesn't look very good. My battery is running out as well. So I'm going to continue with this video on another day and another location. let's crack on with the second part of this video. Because yesterday, where I was at the head of the harbor, as you saw, it actually became very, very cloudy, and the sun just went down and all the light was gone. The cloud also caused a little bit of rain, and I didn't really want to risk, because I had to walk back quite a bit as well to get my camera gear wet and stuff like that. So right now I'm just on the outskirts of the town Middelburg. I recorded a video which was about life path number 9, so you can see a couple of shots about this lovely town as well. So right here, typical Dutch scenery, lovely mill in the background. So yeah, great place to reflect. And as always, here in the Netherlands, there's always a lot of winds, because it's a flat land, of course. So it's a great window for some ventilation. It can help us as well to clear our heads. That's why I love the wind, because the wind can clear our heads. So as I was starting off in the beginning of this video, why empaths need to pay so much more attention to the self-care than, let's say, non-sensitive people. Actually, everybody does it, needs to have it. It is just like we, as highly sensitives, as empaths, we feel everything so deeply and so intense. So when something is off for our body, for our mind, our spirit, for our emotions, we experience that like 10x more than, let's say, non-sensitive people. And as empaths, as I was starting off with, we deeply care about, the well-being of others, and therefore, we really want to empathize with others, and we really want to maintain the peace and the harmony and the balance of the relationships we have. That in order to do so, we want to make everybody happy, which is of course an impossible task to do. But because of that, we give so much of ourselves that in the process we slowly start to lose something of ourselves. That's why, we really need to pay very much attention to our self-care. So let's crack on. The 7 ways to really boost your self-care practice. Chances are you already know it, but the question is, are you already doing it? Because distractions are out there, and they are all against the favor. So the real beginning, we want to feel close to nature, to our own nature, to our own true authentic self. And if you stuff your body with chemicals, then chances are you're only going to create more separation between your physical body, your own nature, the nature around you, and of course your spirit. Because your body is your temple of your spirit. So that's why it's very important, if you want to grow in consciousness, if you want to grow the tree of consciousness, you got to get started with the roots. The roots of our well-being starts off in the gut, which can really help us to feel empowered, because that's where the solar plexus is at. If you have a weak solar plexus, a solar plexus chakra, your energy center, then chances are you might struggle with digestive health as well as gut health as well. So that's why many high sensitives and empaths, they already have to live and be on a special diet. They already need to get rid of the gluten, get rid of dairy, of milk, and the list can go on and on and on. I am not an expert on diet and food and gut health, but I just know what feels right for me and what doesn't. When I'm on holiday, when I'm here in the Netherlands, I want to taste the things that I can't taste when I'm in the UK. So I can throw off my rules out of the book a little bit as well, but I know that for me it's quite easy to get back on track. So diet is number 1. Within your Mind Valley membership, if you don't have it yet, I will share a couple of programs that you can explore that empathize on these different kind of self-practices. If you don't have the membership yet, I got a full review video that explains about this membership, how it works, the benefits and what to expect. But within your Mind Valley membership you can find a program called Well Fit. In there you can find different kind of practices about food, nutrition and so on. So self-care practice number 2. Of course, without diets you can't really fuel the next one, because your diet is the fuel to feel energized. But there has to be, of course, a balance. I mean, we can say a lot about carbs, you know, don't eat bread, don't eat pasta, don't eat rice, don't eat potatoes, because if you eat it, it's a tough job to digest it, and it's absolutely true. However, if you do something like pushing weights, lifting weights, and build your body, become stronger, and you want to get, you know, tone your body a little bit, then it's not always a bad idea to have a healthy portion of carbs. So exercise is like the exorcism of negativity. And you really got to find out for yourself what works best for you. For some it's yoga, for some it's more intense bodyweight exercises like CrossFit or calisthenics, like doing pull-ups and sit-ups and press-ups and anything like that. Basically you can just use your own body to build a little bit of muscle. Also within your Mind Valley membership there's another program you can explore that also dives deeper into this, you know, bodyweight exercises that you can just practice out in the comfort of your own home, so you don't have to go to a noisy, crowded gym with people who might be a little bit different than you, that, you know, you might not feel very comfortable to be around with. So that's number 2. Number 3 is something that I pay most attention to, because for me diet and exercise is something that is, you know, quite natural to me. I always go for long walks, and that also can be integrated within the next practice as well, which is for me, it's my long walks in nature. So I would say this is the category of mindfulness in nature, mindfulness walks in nature. This is something that works very well for me to relax my mind, to re-energize my mind, to gain more clarity and perspective on life. This is for me, this is the way for me to ground myself in the present moment. And I'm simply an outdoor person, you know. Some people are, you know, very well sitting somewhere in the basement in central London on a little cushion, either in a quiet lotus position doing a meditation, or, you know, dancing around the candle, singing kumbaya. But for me, long walks in nature is for me the way, you know, to become mindful, to become present. So that's tip number 3. And on this channel, that's really the most, you know, I pay most attention to these topics, because that's where I find my flow and my insights and the inspiration where it comes to me, the insights I like to share. And that's really how I got started. Like, if I'm in nature, I always gain more clarity and perspective on everything, and that's simply what I want to archive for myself, like a library of thoughts, feelings and emotions that are stored within my inner library. Let's call it the Akashic Records. It's something that I want to archive, and I do it through a video or a written blog post. So that's a way for me. Number 4 that works very well is a very powerful way to really restore your energy body, because number 3 was really about mindfulness, meditation, long walks in nature. The second one goes a little bit hand in hand as well, which is like energy healing. Very beautiful practice. You know, you can either go and see a practitioner yourself, like a Reiki healer who has done the master course. You can do a hands-on healing, you can do a distant healing, or, you know, you can qualify yourself and do the Reiki course yourself and practice these different kind of things yourself. Or you can learn more about crystals. Personally, I'm not really so much into that, because I am more about long walks in nature, but I do recognize and I do have experience energy healing, and it's a wonderful practice. Sometimes it does sound a little bit like a push button solution, and I often like to believe that, which is not always the case, because it's just like, you know, going to a gym or going on daily regular walks. It's not really the go-end solution of really finally breaking through all your problems, but it's something that you could do on an ongoing basis to quickly, you know, reset your energy, your emotions, your thoughts, and, you know, to really to energize your energy body and to really to shift up your vibrational state like that. It also works very well together, of course, with meditation, because through meditation you can also get in touch with your energy body and receive energy healing through that way as well. I do record my meditations sometimes, and I post on my other channel that's more dedicated to my meditations, and it's something I do need to commit to once again, because I see that it really benefits me. Number 5, personal development. Now you might say, yeah, well, isn't mindfulness not some sort of personal development? And for me, I would say yes, it is, because for me, I will tune more into my own intuitive state of being, and you know, for me that is actually already more than enough. But for some really still need to learn a lot of different things, and you know, sometimes it's really good to just to search for these golden nuggets from the lessons and insights from others. So it's not always a bad idea to actually go and study, you know, the expertise from other experts in a specific kind of area. So, you know, that's why I also have the full Mindvalley membership, because I do like to sometimes follow these lessons and see how it applies to me. Not all really is relevant to me, because I like to go a little bit more with my own flow and, you know, like I said, practice my own mindfulness, but sometimes I do really see powerful insights. You can have a membership on Mindvalley, but also on Gaia. On Gaia, you can find a lot of very beautiful documentaries about esoteric, metaphysical topics. The list goes on and on and on. But yeah, on Mindvalley you see more related to personal developments, also to entrepreneurship, other topics regarding to mindfulness or meditation, or even to other esoteric healing practices, or how to get into the flow states. And you know, there's just so much you can find and you can learn. And again, personal development can also go interlinked with professional development, like personal development in the form of learning about, let's say, business, marketing, or wealth generation. So number 6, now we go over from personal development, like I just said, hey, personal development can also be related to learning about, let's say, you know, business, marketing, wealth generation, because, you know, we as empaths, we like to seek for the euphoric state of being, and we like to go up there, especially me as a Pisces, as I'm a water sign. I'm a first day Pisces, so I'm a water sign and an air sign. So what I sometimes really need more of is the earth. That's why I need to spend so much time in nature in order to reconnect with that element of earth. And we as empaths, we tend to go up, you know, up in the higher dimensions. It's not really higher dimensions because everything is like interlinked through a different state of consciousness. But at the end of the line, you know, we all still need to pay our bills. So it might actually be a good idea, like, hey, what are you going to do with all these things you are learning? All the time you invest in personal development and mindfulness and meditation and all of that. Like I always said, you know, it's a very good idea, and that's really what we spoke about for now. It's really about purifying and cleansing your own glass of water, because how more light, a pure light, love consciousness you fill up your own glass, eventually you start to flow over. But it's also a very good idea to find a way to learn the tactics, the strategies and the mindsets to actually to build, let's say, an infrastructure, so you can communicate these ideas and solutions out in the world, where you not just only give, but get the strategies and the infrastructure in place that you can also receive back energy, money, finances, in order to sustain yourself. So you don't have to go into a GOB and just over broke, working 6 days a week in an office environment that completely drains your energy. So that's why it might be a very good idea to learn about internet marketing, build your own course, build a website, a landing page, or learn about social media marketing, learn about SEO, YouTube marketing, video SEO, how to rank your post, how to generate traffic, how to funnel that traffic, and all of that in order to simply go and make money for yourself. Number 7, now we're talking about money. We spoke about going from personal development into professional development. Now let's say you make a little bit of money, what are you going to do with it? Now we can do a lot of things with it, and one thing is learning how to invest it. So really the 7th step, that I must be honest, and I must be I know how it works, I just don't really feel like doing it, and that is really money management, wealth management. Because for me it's like, hey, you know, I just want the money to be there, and I don't really want to think about it. If I feel in the moment that's what I want and that's what I want to experience, I don't budget things. It just simply doesn't work for me. If I got 10 euros or 10 pounds to spend, if that's what I have in pockets, then chances are that's what I will be spending. And you know, in our mind we say, well, that's not really how it works. So you know, it actually might be a good idea to learn something about, hey, you know, the whole financial market is kind of in chaos. We are speaking about a global economic change. Some like to debate about the Great Reset and whatever. Maybe in a couple of years we might see a change from going for fiat currency into a different currency. So why not learn a little bit about, let's say, crypto currencies and see what it is you can do with it. I'm part of a very interesting community called the Hyper community. It's a whole ecosystem of crypto, everything regarding to crypto. So I got a website as well. I will leave a link. All the links that I just spoke about during this video is what I will post below. So you can find a website called Final Destination, and you see like different kind of training videos, presentations that shows you a little bit more about this membership community, a membership that actually gives you a free X on your membership cost. So you get a membership at the end of the period, it will give you a free X with absolutely doing nothing. So let's say if you start a membership, as an example, with $10,000, you convert $10,000 into USD Tether, which is a crypto. This cryptocurrency, 1 USD Tether, equals $1. That into that local cryptocurrency, which also still like one of that currency also equals 1 USD Tether, that will eventually be giving you a free X in return. I mean, where do you get that? I mean, leaving money on a bank account only costs you money. That just really is one way that membership can actually grow your money, grow your wealth. So if you're into that, if you got a little bit of money, it might be a good idea to look into that, and you might want to thank me later for it. Anyway, I'm going to leave it with this because it's already a pretty long video. If you got any questions, any insights you would like to share, make sure to drop a comment below, and hopefully I see you very soon once again on this channel, Reflection Time, where you can give yourself some time to reflect. Alright, see you later. Take care for now.